Bivol, he's a great boxer and he has punching power. And then Beterbiev, I think he's a little bit older. You know, I think his body's breaking down a little bit. He works really hard. I don't take nothing away from him, but he does a lot of weights. And in boxing, when you do too much weights like that, that's when you start to break down more. So I'm leaning a little bit more towards Bivol.
Mexican Monster has criticized Artur Beterbiev's hectic training regimen in front of the title fight. David Benavidez predicted that if Artur continued to torment his body like this, he would face a demise against his fellow Russian on 12th October. David's base argument is Beterbiev's heavy workouts that no one has ever seen before in boxing. And it really looks like he spends most of his training without putting on gloves. Unlike other boxers, who train with light weights for maximum repetitions, Artur Beterbiev likes to go high. Some other inhuman strength workouts of this knockout artist are Above all, Arthur's 45-pound barbell wrist roll is also world famous. Surely, it must have broken a few wrists of those who aspired to repeat it. After criticizing the heavy training routine and injuries, David Benavidez exposed the flaws in Beterbiev's boxing stance. Benavidez is currently studying his both Russian opponents, and after watching Artur's match against Anthony Yarde, he concluded, "I thought it was a good performance overall, but Artur leaves himself open a lot. I feel like I could have a lot of success with him." David declared that Beterbiev's flat-foot boxing stance and blow-for-blow attitude can lead to his failure. He will keep it in his notes and try to leverage this if ever lined across.
He leaves his body open a lot, you know, and he's really, you can really hit him a lot with combinations. So, I mean, it would definitely be extremely tough.
Some say Benavidez is rooting for Bivol because he is scared of fighting against Artur. However, David linked Bivol to Canelo and explained how Bivol adds more to his legacy.
You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say Bivol pulls that off. You fight Bivol, you get a chance to beat him, you beat him. Wouldn't that kind of capture the hearts of Mexican boxing fans because you'd avenge where Canelo fell short?
Yeah, and I think that would just solidify myself as the best of my generation. If I beat the guy everybody wants to fight.
Moreover, Benavidez paid his respects to the Saudi boxing magnate Turki Al-Sheikh for setting up these big fights. Benavidez thinks that without Saudi's influence, his fight with the Bivol-Beterbiev winner would never have been made on such short notice.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I had talked to Turki, you know, shout out to Turki, he's a great guy. They wanted me to fight in August. But I told him, you know what, I'm with PBC, you know, we got this big card. So I think that was just a conversation of opening the doors that this is maybe a reality, we can make this happen. So with this fight, after this victory, he's gonna put me on #1 contender to fight the winner of that. And you know, like I said, that's what we're going for.
Benavidez also told Sean Ziddle about the fight His Excellency offered him for the 3rd August card of Riyadh season. The Monster unveiled the secret.
I'll tell you. He did mention me one fighter. He wanted me to go down to 160 to fight Crawford. I'm like, bro, I cannot do that.
David's father is also looking for Bivol to win this fight and square off against his son. Jose Benavidez Sr. also thinks that a win over Bivol will remove their previous stains.
Fight David, that's the fight that we want to make, and the reason we want to make that fight because he beat Canelo, he beat Zurdo Ramirez, and that will be the 3rd Mexican that he will face, and I think that will be very exciting, and I think he's looking for those fights. He wants to fight everybody too. He's a great fighter, and that's just an option.
Bivol is the only active boxer who has beaten Canelo Alvarez. Plus, Canelo's fight with Benavidez was never made despite all these efforts and call-outs. So, the Mexican Monster and his father seek redemption by winning against Bivol. Benavidez Sr. added more in a PBC media event. "I believe there are other big fights to be made. I mean, Bivol beat Canelo Alvarez, so we are trying to beat the one that beat the other one. I think it would be an honor for us to fight Bivol because he beat Zurdo Ramirez. He beat Canelo Alvarez. That is the sole reason Team Benavidez wants a fight with Bivol. Plus, the undisputed status of Bivol will also be very lucrative for getting more big fights in the future."
To beat the face of boxing, I think that will put David in a greater position where he's at now. So that's what we're trying to look. We're trying to look for the bigger fighters, the dangerous fighters, the fighters that nobody really wants to face. So those are the ones that we're after.
Unlike the other PPV events going up to $100, the battle between Beterbiev and Bivol will be displayed on ESPN for free. It is not a norm in the boxing world to have a fight like this for free, but Turki Alalshikh is delivering what he promised. Michael Benson posted news of Beterbiev's promoter Bob Arum's interview, in which he dropped the news that His Excellency Turki Al-Alshikh has agreed to televise this fight for free. Michael wrote, Bob Arum has revealed that His Excellency Turki Al-Alshikh has agreed for Dmitry Bivol versus Artur Beterbiev for the undisputed WBA, WBC, IBF, and WBO light heavyweight world titles on June 1st, to be broadcast free on ESPN in the USA. On the other hand, David Benavidez has vacated his WBC super middleweight interim champion status after years of calling out against Canelo Alvarez. He has decided to make his legacy in the light heavyweight division after brutally knocking down Oleksandr Gvozdyk. After winning this fight, he became the mandatory challenger for the winner of Bivol versus Artur. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman has confirmed this news. He posted, the WBC has just received a letter from Samson Lukowicz, exclusive promoter of David Benavidez, confirming that David Benavidez will continue his career as a light heavyweight. He is confirmed as the WBC 175 interim champion and is the mandatory contender for the winner Beterbiev versus Bivol. It is known worldwide that David Benavidez has done some sparring sessions with Dmitry Bivol. Even though Bivol had only one stoppage win in his last 10 matches, David rates him high. He made a keen observation of this fight and gave his analogy. They're both extremely talented fighters. Two different types of fighters, though. Bivol is a boxer. He moves around a lot, but he's solid. Beterbiev is a train. He just comes at you and takes shots to give shots. According to Benavidez, he hasn't left the super middleweight division for good. He opted for a light heavyweight because he will certainly get a chance to fight against the winner of this upcoming clash. He admired both Bivol and Artur fighters for their skills and concluded, so what I'm looking at for this fight is, Bivol has the power to hurt Beterbiev because Beterbiev has been hurt by Oleksandr Gvozdyk. I've sparred both and Bivol cracks harder than Oleksandr. It's going to be a really interesting fight, Benavidez added. I think if Bivol stays on his feet the whole night, uses his jab, and then when they exchange he stands his ground, I think he has a really good chance of winning. But also, when Beterbiev gets his engine going, that a train. It's 50-50, a great fight. Plus, Bivol and Beterbiev showed great chemistry in recent media events. Both are shy and very careful with their words. Nothing more has happened verbally in their media sessions other than a few chilling warnings in their Eastern European accents. Both guys are undefeated and loaded with an impeccable resume, but they have little affection for words. Queensberry presenter Dev Sani tried his very best to open their mouths, but all the talking will be done in the ring.
Thank you very much. I just wonder, do you have a message for Dmitry Bivol now that he's here?
He know already.
Dimitri, Artur Beterbiev says that you know already. What is it that you know?
I don't know already. We know. I tell you, no.
After this, Dev questioned him about any previous encounter with Beterbiev. Both started their amateur careers in the Russian national boxing team. Dmitry didn't recollect any sparring or training sessions with Beterbiev. Although they were together for some time, Bivol was much younger than him, so he said, no, nothing special. You know, we were in a different age, different weight classes. We had some work together that was some kind of sparring, but I cannot call it proper sparring because we were different kilos, and it wasn't something serious. The WBA champ admitted one thing: Artur was the most serious guy even back in that time in the camps of the national team. Artur Beterbiev also removed his intimidation after the face-off and seemed very chill in the media briefing afterward. He had a laughing moment with the hosts on a question that made the whole place a laughing stock. The question was,
how are you getting better? I really want to know this. At 39 years old, a lot of your peers that you would have grown up with have probably got their slippers on at this moment. How are you getting better so late in your career?
I don't know. It's because of luck.
No, it's not luck.
Healthy
There's
living.
something that you're living the life. It looks like you're living the life and you're enjoying it.
Look how much better Steve is, right? Look how much.
According to the Ring magazine, Beterbiev is currently the top contender at 175, number 5 pound for pound, and the unified WBC, IBF, and WBO champion. This Montreal-based knockout artist is also a lineal champion. Bivol, on the other hand, is number 2 at 175, number 6 pound for pound, and owns the WBA title. Joe Smith Jr. is the guy who has lost to both Beterbiev Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. So who knows about those fighters more than him? His encounter against Dmitry Bivol was somewhat close, as he even knocked Bivol at one point, but when he stepped against Dmitry Bivol, it turned out to be the worst night of his life. But he still considers Dmitry a better fighter overall than Beterbiev. In a recent question-answer session, he was asked about which fighter was more difficult. Joe came up with an answer that was very odd.
You know, in my opinion, I felt Bivol was, the tougher fight for me. He's all-around fighter, but both fighters are very skilled,
Joe Smith Jr. praised the skills of both fighters and detailed their prowess. Like David Benavidez, Joe also thinks that Beterbiev's increasing age might not help him heal his knee injury properly and added, both fighters are very skilled, Beterbiev, he's very accurate with his pouches. He hits you where he wants to, but I would love to watch a fight between them. It's a tough fight, anything could happen. Beterbiev, he has got that punch and power, but Bivol, he's the more all-round fighter. Oleksandr Gvozdyk is another who has bad words for Artur Beterbiev after being crushed in their fight. Like Joe Smith Jr., Gvozdyk is also rooting for Dmitry Bivol in their upcoming fight. Beterbiev's recent injury has left many fans feeling let down. One of those is Oleksandr Gvozdyk. He pointed out, Beterbiev is starting to fall apart and getting injured pretty often. He's not a young guy, and it's not a joke anymore. He's almost 40 years old. He's been fighting since he got out of the crib. He's had many injuries and many wars. You never know what kind of Beterbiev we're going to see, especially after his latest serious injury. But Artur's camp denied the rumors that his age would hinder his knockout streak. Callum Simpson is a rising English super middleweight who has recently sparred with Artur Beterbiev. He referred to Gvozdyk's allegations as absolutely nonsense, praising Artur and his coaching crew, he said.
He will be the same Beterbiev, I guarantee you that. He's different, mate, he's different. Everyone I've sparred, everyone that I've been in the ring with is just built different. And I know he's got an amazing team around him as well. Matt Ramsey's head coach and the other boxing coaches, the strength and conditioning coaches, nutritionists, they're all the base. He's got the best.
Other than David Benavidez, the Mexican pound-for-pound king is also eyeing this fight and envisioning Bivol's victory. Canelo has declared that the only thing that can make his comeback in the light heavyweight division is a rematch with Dmitry Bivol. He will be more than happy to share the ring with the Bivol, no matter if he becomes undisputed or not. When asked about the possibility of this rematch, Canelo's answer was blunt. Yeah, it's possible one day. The only fight I make one more time at 175 is the rematch with Bivol. It's the only fight that will happen. The fight is very special in a way that the light heavyweight division is finally going to see its first undisputed champion. Previously, this title was won by Roy Jones Jr. when he defeated Reggie Johnson. Well, he has also given his prediction for this that is strangely very convincing.
No. Not 50-50. One, Beterbiev is 38 years old. Beterbiev has been down.
Yes.
Bivol never been down. Bivol been in there with who at the time was pound the best, which was Canelo Alvarez. Made him look like nothing. So I'm not saying it's 50-50. Beterbiev got everything to show me to bring it back up to 50-50. Right now, Bivol has the advantage 60-40. Now, Beterbiev is a hell of a guy and a hell of a fighter and has an awesome power. But he also has been down. So it's like when I look at that, I always look at stuff from where I used to see things standpoint. Yeah. And the way I saw it, if somebody else knocked you down, I got to get you down. You understand me? Now, that's a hell of a punch to walk through to get him down, though. So it's a very dangerous game that people all got to play because Beterbiev is the best puncher probably ever in that division. You understand me? So it's a great fight. If it's 50-50, it's because of his puncher power. Maybe he may land, and maybe he may...
One thing is established. Team Benavidez will be on Bivol's corner on the night of 12th of October. They assured that they see Bivol as a better fighter overall than Beterbiev. But when Benavidez was asked about the tougher opposition, the answer was quite ironic.
Who do you think poses the harder fight for you between Bivol and Beterbiev? Who presents the more difficult fight?
I think probably Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Because he's 14-0 with 14 knockouts, or 15-0, 15 knockouts.
Yeah.
The thing I see about him is a little bit different. It might be an easier way to beat him is that he's really flat-footed, but he has a lot of power.
Due to WBC's mandatory status, Benavidez will fight with the winner of this fight. Also, Bivol and Beterbiev don't have a rematch clause. So, who will it be? According to sources, efforts will be made to secure a May 2025 fight date for the fight between Benavidez versus the Beterbiev-Bivol winner. So, what are your thoughts? Tell us in the comments and please subscribe to our channel.